Hello girls! In this video, we'll focus on the beauty and aesthetics of men's hands. We'll discuss all the pros and cons of male manicures. Additionally, I'll try to show and explain everything in detail, including what to do and what not to do to avoid causing harm to our men. Stay tuned until the end. It will be interesting and useful for sure. Before starting the work, it's essential to determine the type of cuticles to know which burrs and technique will be more convenient to use. We have cuticles that are rubbery since the nails haven't seen a manicure for a long time. On some fingers, the cuticle is dry, but overall, it's the rubbery type. We're removing the length. I do this with tweezers, but I remove the length in several stages because the nail plate here is extremely durable. If you try to insert the blades right to the root to remove the entire length at once, the client may feel discomfort and even pain. With hands that haven't had a manicure for a long time, it's necessary to work very carefully because men, as a rule, are more sensitive to pain and they tend to be more fidgety during the procedure. Then, I thoroughly clean all the dirt from under the nails as it can interfere with the subsequent steps. In principle, for aesthetics and the beauty of the hands, it's always important to clean the space under the nails. On the ring finger, I see a former injury. Someone here dug something very hard and this something was driven under the nail, causing the separation of the nail plate from the bed. I can already feel this pain myself. But this manicure won't affect it since everything has already healed and the nail has almost completely grown back. Besides, we cut the length to 0 so nothing will be visible. Next, we need to open the working area for the drill. The working area is very narrow, so we use a flame-shaped drill bit with a diameter of 0.25 and a thin nose. On some fingers, the cuticle even starts to crack, so we work carefully. I insert a stick under the cuticle and turn it to lift the roll so that we can clean the work area. With such cuticles, it is necessary to work in 2 stages throughout the entire procedure. So first, I gently detach the cuticle that has adhered to the plate in small steps, and in the next pass, I lift the cuticle completely. After fully opening the pockets, I proceed to filing, grinding down all the corners that can cause injury to oneself and others, and of course, shaping the form. Since we will be applying a coating, I will also be lifting the scales, removing the gloss from the surface, the little thing that forms after we've cut the length. It can be leveled with a file because the skin here is coarse, everything will be okay. I have a 180 grit file, the golden standard for professionals. I don't see the point in using a file with a coarser grit since we're dealing with natural nails and using a coarser grit could potentially harm the skin. Nowadays, many men get manicures and it's great that the word manicure is becoming a norm for men because it's not just about beauty, it's also about health and hygiene. Being healthy will always be in style. This time I'll show you a dry cuticle cleaning without using a remover since I already have a video on that and I think you'll find it interesting to see a male dry manicure in my favorite technique. Since we have some cracks, and to avoid making things worse, I'll be treating the cuticles with a red burr. On this finger, I'll demonstrate how to remove cuticles using an electric file, even when the cuticle is rubbery. As I mentioned, I'll be working in 2 stages. In the first stage, it's essential to clean the entire pterygium under the cuticle and try to turn it out as much as possible. Don't forget about the lateral rolls. We grind them to remove small roughness. With the first pass of the ball burr, we further lift the cuticle and then we cut it off. I chose the blue ball bit to have a larger working area. With it, I removed the cuticle and cleaned the side walls from rough skin. I pay special attention to the area where we filed with a file. It also needs to be nicely cleaned. I work at 7,000 RPM. Don't keep the bit in one place or it will cause discomfort to the client. On the second finger, I will also work in 2 stages, but using a combination technique, a bit plus scissors. I don't soak the cuticle, as I mentioned before, and work on dry cuticles. I won't be doing a deep manicure, and anything that can't be cut with scissors will be removed with the ball bit. Now I want to talk about when it is not advisable to do a deep manicure and for whom it is generally not recommended. The first category includes people with diabetes, not those with a mild form, but those who have had difficulty healing wounds for a long time. No master is immune from the possibility of injuring the client, and in such situations, we put this category of people at risk, as the healing process may take a long time for them. The second category is manual laborers, especially those with injured, bleeding cuticles, particularly if they work with chemicals. I will never perform a deep cleaning on such hands. Therefore, we only remove what is sticking out or causing discomfort, but cutting everything to zero in such cases is not permissible. Now we move on to the coating stage. It will be minimal, but it will give an even more beautiful result. The base will help conceal all the unevenness on the nail plate, and the top coat will add a velvety texture. Since our nail plate is strong, any base will do. I took a universal rubber base and covered the nails in the middle layer. I also turned them over so that the base would not seep into the synapses but would be evenly distributed on the nail. Personally, I am in favor of men getting a manicure, even with a coating, because hands look completely different. It adds a certain charm to a man, and as a master, I always look at hands, whether it's public transport or a supermarket. It's a habit, and most likely, I'm not alone. I think fellow professionals will definitely understand me. We will finish it off with a matte top coat, and I'll give you a couple of hacks regarding the finishing coating. It's crucial to understand that matte doesn't like dispersion, and if you don't remove it well from the nail and cover it with matte, after drying, you'll see bald spots. That's all caused by dispersion, so make sure to clean it thoroughly. Another thing is the drying time for the top coat. If you can dry the glossy one in a minute, the matte top coat needs 2 rounds of 1 minute each. In other words, dry it the first time, take it out, let it cool down, and then back into the lamp. Try this hack and you'll see the velvety texture that should be present in matte finishes. Here's another hack. Choose matte top coats with dispersion, as they will be more velvety and resistant to damage. When you've dried the top coat, don't remove the dispersion immediately. Give it at least a minute to settle. This is very important. Next is polishing. First, I apply oil to all the fingers and put a drop on my glove. I use the drill on my hand, starting with the back, and then begin polishing. I do this at 5,000 to 6,000 revolutions. This is my favorite part of male manicure because after polishing, the hands are noticeably transformed, small imperfections are eliminated, and the skin is nourished with oil. It's a wow effect. It's better to do the polishing with oil, as the oil penetrates deeper into the skin when it warms up from the drill, providing long-lasting moisturization for the fingers. Well, here are our hands at the finish. What do you think? Have we managed to transform them? Share your thoughts on male manicure and the techniques you use in the comments. And if you want to learn how to do a male manicure with a remover, head over to my channel. There's already a video on that, along with a lot of other useful content for you. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss new, helpful videos. Well, it was Anna with you, and until the next meeting, beauties.